guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Allie. Today I have a book video for you, so if you are a bookworm like myself, you'll probably really enjoy it. If not, stay tuned because I do have some more makeup videos coming, but I have been in a little bit of a rut lately with many things that I typically love doing, but I feel like I'm in a rut because I'm having a hard time finding the extra time to do the things that I love. I was really determined the beginning of this year to really fall back in love with books, and not even fall back in love with books because I feel like I've never really fell out, but I just feel like there was part of me that would just never make the time for books. So I really started trying to do that each month, and I made sure I read at least one book each month. And then last month, and I'm filming this right now in July, so last month, in case you guys see this after July, hopefully that's not the case, but depending on how long it takes to edit this video, it may be in August. In June, I ended up reading close to 10 books, and I just felt so good about it, and I had an absolute blast just like diving in and getting through that many books. I just felt so accomplished by the end, and it definitely has made me love reading again, so much so that I'm dedicating more time to it. And then July hit, and the first week was just super, super busy, and I had told myself that, you know, I have my savory read, and if you've been watching my book videos, you know that I have a savory summer read, and it's a really long book from Stephen King, so I'm kind of just like setting goals for myself to read it by the end of the summer. So I just try to put away a little bit of time each month in the summer for it so that by the end of the summer I finish it. But I'm still trying to fill up the rest of my time with other books, and I'm a multitasker. I love jumping around book to book. It's something that's never bothered me. I can always stick with each story, even if I have multiple going at one time. So that's why this was also a really cool idea for me, and that kind of brought this idea on, as well as the first month of June or of July, just not really sticking with my reading goals as much. I really wanted to start at least 3 books as with my steady savory read, and I ended up only starting 2, which is not bad for an average reader. Like, that's not bad. Even to just read 1 book a month, I think is amazing, to keep your mind going and continue reading. But the thing was, I didn't finish a single one the first week, and then jumping into the second week of July, I wanted to start more and just didn't. I just dropped the ball on it. It was another really busy week, and I ended up finishing one of the books. The other book, I have a few chapters left, and then of course I have my savory read. I had come across a video from one of the book vloggers that I follow, and she had talked about doing a book marathon of just like reading for like 72 hours, and I don't think I'm quite there yet. I don't think I'm that committed to where, I think it's more so like I don't think my mind is there or mentally prepared for something like that. That task would already be super hard with being a mom with my kids and stuff. It would be really hard, and I would have to still take a lot of breaks. So I feel like ultimately doing something like that, I would probably feel unsatisfied in the end because I wouldn't get very far. I'd maybe finish 1 book with all the interruptions. And yeah, I just don't think that my mind would be able to just stick with that one thing, with just reading for 72 hours straight. I just don't think I'm quite there yet. So long story short, I wanted to try to find a way to get me to make more time for reading in my day, and I thought if I made it more of a challenge or something that I filmed for you guys, maybe it would be something that I would really stick with and invest more of my time into it. Honestly, don't know if this is something that has been done before or if this is somebody else's idea. It honestly is just something that came to mind for me, and I was like, oh, that would be a really cool idea because I want some more book video ideas, but I thought it was a really cool idea for me to get inspired again to read. And again, the challenge. I love the challenge. So for the next 7 days, the next week, I'm going to start a new book every single day. And while I'm not going to read all day long like a marathon, just because I don't have that in me, and I also just don't have that much time. I have a lot going on, work-wise, and like, you know, with everything that I'm working on, redoing this room, and my kiddos, it's summertime, spending a lot of time with them, so I'm sure we're going to have, you know, stuff going on some of the days. But I wanted to still dedicate a week to reading, so any spare time that I have, I want to be dedicating it to reading as much as possible, besides spending some spare time here and there with my kiddos or my husband. But I'm going to try to make the extra time, even if that means I need to wake up a little bit earlier or stay up a little bit later some nights, which is always easy for me to do. I think in a way it'll help me minimize my screen time a little bit too, which would probably be good because I've been watching a lot of screens lately. And I always get in that rut because I'm constantly in front of my laptop for work, and then I go to like watch screens and stuff, so that the next time I'm back on my laptop, I'm kind of like, ugh, I don't even want to work, where I think this will help me a lot because my free time will be spent in a book instead. For a quick example, in case I've lost you, so tomorrow will be day 1, and the book that I'm going to be reading is Along Came a Spider by James Patterson. I believe this is the first book. I know. It is the first book from the Alex Cross series, and so yeah, I'm going to be starting that series. I briefly talked about it. I don't know if I cut it out because I rambled a lot in my last book video, but my mama is a big James Patterson fan, and she has most of all of his books, so I've been borrowing some from his series, and I've always heard that the Alex Cross ones are the best, so I am starting that series, and I'm starting this book with day 1, so all day tomorrow. I haven't started yet. I'm going to wait till tomorrow morning with my latte, and I'm going to start it, and all day whenever I have the spare time, I'm going to pick up this book and read. I'm not going to hold it over my head too much to like have goals of how many chapters or how many pages I'm going to read. I'm just going to enjoy it and keep in the back of my head that today is the only day I get to read this for the next week. Like, I have to wait until next Tuesday to pick this book up again. So that would challenge me. If I fall into this story and I'm like addicted, I'll be more prone to continue reading it as much as possible. It'll make me want to read more throughout my day, and hopefully it doesn't stress me out. But yeah, and then after I go to bed, when I wake up Wednesday, it's time to start all over again with a new book, and only touch that book all of Wednesday, and then so on and so forth for the next week until Tuesday rolls around. Again, the ultimate idea is to keep things interesting, get the juices flowing for reading again, and out of, you know, that little rut, definitely making more time for reading, because I'm going to be forcing myself more, because I know I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I want to know what happens next. I got to keep reading because tomorrow I don't get to pick this book up again. And it's just for a week. So it's, at the same time, it's chaotic. It's going to be 7 books, so it's a little intense. I am going to throw in a manga for one day and a graphic novel. They're pretty much almost like the same thing, where they're going to be a lot easier of read, so I probably will be able to get through those the day that I read them, but there still will be 5 other like thicker books to read, so I don't know, we will see. I just know my days stay pretty busy, so I'm thinking I won't be able to get through each of these books. And again, I'm not going to pressure myself to, I'm just going to read as much as I can. But I think what I'm also really excited about is what happens at the end of this experiment. So come next Tuesday, what books are going to be finished, what books are not going to be finished, and which ones I'm the most eager to pick up and continue reading. Look at me, there I go, choking on my silence, and I don't think you want me because I want to keep it private, and I don't think you know me if you. All right, day 2, checking in. I did not check in yesterday. Honestly, I didn't film yesterday. I wasn't feeling super great yesterday. I had a really bad migraine when I woke up, and then just things kind of went downhill with my mood from there throughout the day. So I still stuck to my reading once the migraine passed a little bit, but I think the migraine kind of had a little bit of like an effect on like my typical morning read, so I feel like I probably could have read even more, and I really tried to pick up the pace throughout the rest of the day, but it was still a pretty full-on day, so I didn't get as far as I would have liked to get, but I know I showed you guys the book Along Came a Spider, but this is how far I got in yesterday. I read, the chapters in this book are really weird though, so yeah, it says I read 25 chapters. The chapters are super, super short, and there's quite a few of them, but there's also 4 parts of this book total, and I made it to part 2, so I read the whole first part, so I feel like that's actually like a really good place to kind of hit, because you have a good knowledge, I feel like, on the characters that are going to be like discussed throughout it, the case in general, since this is like a detective true crime type of story. But also I feel like you also get a really good feel by, you know, the second part, like the writing style, and I really am enjoying James Patterson. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I've read one of his in the past. I just have no idea which one it was or anything, but I don't remember having like any type of, like feeling any type of way about like his writing, but I'm really enjoying it. It was a good read, and I found myself wanting to reach for it throughout the day, even when I had other stuff to do. So that's a good sign, and today I've actually been itching to pick it up and read it, but I'm gonna try to stick to my rules here, so I have not touched it today, but yeah, that's as far as I've read. Page-wise, again, the chapters are really short, but page-wise, I got 144 pages in yesterday, which, again, is not, like, incredible. Not great. But honestly, the best that I could do waking up with a migraine. Alright, so today is day 2, and I'm in the afternoon now. I just got done doing my makeup and stuff, doing a little bit of filming in that area. So what you have to realize is that these are my regular work days too, so I have quite a bit of like morning work to do. Also, juggling work with having kids at home full-time for summertime is already a lot, so trying to fit in reading I have found to be super, super challenging for this challenge. I probably should have held off on this challenge. I'm realizing that now, that it's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, to fit in enough time in my day without the interruptions. So yeah, I think this is definitely going to be something that I want to try again down the line, like maybe once school starts and things kind of settle down a little bit, just so I can have like a little bit more quiet time to read, or even parent pickup and drop off lines. That is where it's at. Bring that book and just sit there and read. I am one of those. But anyways, today, day 2, I want to make these as short as I can, so this video is not too long for you guys. But today's read was Catching Fire. I went ahead and just dove right into it, from Suzanne Collins. Just finished the first Hunger Games. I think I've mentioned it in a vlog, like a vlog where we went thrifting and we found the whole set at a flea market, and I've always stuck to my guns, like many bookworms, and say the books are better than the movies, so I thought, you know what, why not? And I really did enjoy the first one. I don't want to say too much about it just because this isn't that video. You guys can see a book blog soon, hopefully, with it. I'm always behind on book blogs, but I try to get those reviews up as fast as I can. But I'll probably mention it in my video for the books I read in July as well, and maybe this one too, if it intrigues me enough to continue it next week after this challenge. But my only, I feel like, downfall with the first one was that although it's not a bad read, I like the characters, I do like the writing style, but you just get this very weird, like, young adult vibe to it as well, which is not always a bad thing. I just feel like I still kind of I'm to a point to where I feel like I read so much just, you know, adult that like whenever I'm reading a young adult, it's just kind of like, you know, I don't know. It's just like a weird vibe that I've gotten. But I think as the kids mature and get even older, maybe the second and the third book won't be so much of that feeling. And so far, so it is. It definitely, as the series progresses, it gets a lot more intense. So I'm enjoying it already. It's been another busy day. I've only finished 5 chapters so far. I'm on page 75. So again, I did not realize how hard this challenge was going to be. I wouldn't say I'm a slow reader, but it's just finding that time to where I'm actually able to sit down and read. And right now, when I find that little speck of time to sit down and read, 2 minutes in and it's an interruption. So yeah, I think tomorrow, I might try a different gameplay. We're actually thinking about going to the library. We haven't been to our local library in a long time, and I'm like, with how many books I'm reading lately, it might be a really good idea, but we're also just wanting to kind of get the kids out a little bit. It's getting a little stir crazy this week. And do something just simple that's not going to be like draining on us, because we've both been like working out and yeah, working and trying to get back in the flow of everything before school starts again. So it's just been a busy month already. I didn't think July was going to be this busy, but I'm going to hang in there. I feel like I'll be a lot more accomplished with this challenge. Like I said, maybe in the fall when things settle down a little bit, when the kids are good and adjusted into the school year, and I have a little bit more of that free time while they're at school, but also like, and the parent pickup lines and stuff too. But I'm not giving up this week. I'm gonna keep going. I can say both of these so far have kept me very entertained and very intrigued. So I think that is a good start. I think tomorrow I'm gonna pick up a graphic novel or a manga to make it an easy day for me. And then the day after that, I think I'm gonna try to do some outside time with the kids. Crossing my fingers with the weather that it's not too hot and the boys can at least play in some water and stuff, and I can sit in some shade and read and get further along on my goal with these books. But I still have the night, so I'm going to try to find some time. I may even stay up a little bit tonight once the boys are in bed and try to read some more and maybe update you guys tomorrow or the next day. I just feel like I ramble so much when I talk about books that these updates kind of get long. So if I don't update you guys tomorrow, I'll probably just do it the following day so that I'm updating you but not giving you guys an hour-long video.
Because I'm fucking shy, I never wanna show my face sometimes, and I got trouble looking people in the eye, cause when I do I just forget off. I wanna do it, I'ma feel like I'ma die. I prefer to stay inside with the lights off. Text before you call me because otherwise it might fall through. Any social, but I had it so well. The crowd's getting loud, I'm a vibe in the stairwell, cause it's my own fault.
Check in for day 3. Not gonna lie, you guys, I didn't get any further on this and I'm so mad at myself. I feel like day 2 is definitely the pitfall of this whole challenge so far. Hopefully it's the only one, but that just means I'm really, really excited to pick this one back up next week, because I really was enjoying it. I feel like I'm really into it now since it's the second one. But I was going to read more on it yesterday, but I had to end up filming a beauty video, and then I filmed my first episode and recorded my first episode for season 7 of my podcast, Caffeine Crime. It was a long one. By the time I was done, I had to like do all my skincare, take my makeup off, and like settle in for the night. I was so tired. I didn't get to bed until like 4 o'clock in the morning. And then my amazing husband let me sleep in this morning. So I slept in and then woke up and then was just stressed because I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get work done. I gotta get this done, this and this and this. And then, yeah, so I had no reading time this morning either. So I was just like, I'm just gonna pick up a graphic novel or a manga. We decided this afternoon to go to the library. So I picked up some stuff. Honestly though, I was really, really bummed because we went in and I had a list. I made like a long list of like my to be read. And I'm like, I'm just gonna see what I can find. Yeah, I couldn't find anything on my list. It was sad. So I had to like keep digging. I probably put it in another vlog or something, but some of them you will see in this video. But I did find some that I've still been wanting to read for a long time. But yeah, I'm on the waiting list for some too. And I'm just gonna order some. But I seen this. They had like this really cute shelf that showed like each library clerk, like their photo and their name, and it says like their recommends, and then they had like books on the shelf. I just thought it was so cute. And one of them had recommended this. Okay, I'm a sucker for vampires, no pun intended, but I seen it and I was like, oh, that's like really cute. So then I opened it and realized it's a graphic novel, and I was like, oh, I have to. It is so freaking cute. So this was my read today because I brought it home and I was like, it's a graphic novel. I'm just gonna go ahead and read one of my library books that I got because why not? It's day 3 and I feel like I failed yesterday by not hardly reading anything. So I wanted to make up for it today and read this whole thing, and I did. And you guys, it is so freaking cute. It's just kind of like a little comedy graphic novel, but it's so cute. I don't want to give too much away, but it just like starts off with a vampire at a bar, and a guy comes up to her and like hits on her, and come to find out he's a werewolf. And so the whole thing is just full of them like falling in love, and each page is like another joke. Vampire jokes, like opening the curtain and then her like catching on fire in the morning and saying like, good morning, and then, you know, she catches on fire. Okay, I feel like it's just like a really cute read, but I'm obsessed. I love dark stuff. I love like Halloween, but I love when there's like a little bit of like that comedy like twist to it too. So I just thought it was really, really cute. This is a book that I'm gonna buy, and I want to look more into this author. It's by Sarah Anderson, and I just thought it was so cute, and I had never heard of it. So yeah, it's a book that I'm actually gonna buy. I think it's that cute, and I want to have a copy of it. And I mean, just the aesthetics of it. I love this like main character, this vampire girl too. She is just the cutest. But yeah, I read it today. I really liked it. I may do another library book tomorrow. I thought, why not, since I went to the library today. But we had a lot of fun, and my spirits are lifted again knowing that I finished a book today, even though it's just a graphic novel and it's pretty short, but I still feel accomplished. Hey guys, a little check-in. It's day 5, so I have today and 2 more days of this vlog that I'm sure is so long. So I'm gonna make this short and sweet because I didn't check in yesterday. I'm pretty sure I checked in the day before though. Yesterday I didn't do a check-in, but my book for yesterday was Sharp Objects by Gillian. I think that's how you say her name. Gillian Flynn. She is a writer from Chicago, I believe, and I don't know much about her besides that she writes a lot of thrillers and bestsellers. She was more so on my radar when Gone Girl came out, the actual like movie, and that's when I kind of started to like hear more about it, and how some of the filming of that was like filmed close to where I live. I still had never read any of her books, and my sister has actually recommended me read some of hers a few times, so I wanted to just give it a go. But I mean, her books have been on my radar for a while. I really wanted to read Gone Girl, so when we went to the library, It was actually one of the only authors that I could find that had literally all of her books. I'm just really going through it right now, you guys. And so I really wish I would have read more. I don't know, it's really, really hard. I don't think I'm gonna have full thoughts on this book until I finish it. Because right now, I'm just very, I don't want to say bitter because I feel like it's very harsh, but the story of this is about a reporter, a writer for a paper in Chicago, and she has to go back to her hometown to cover a case of these little girls who are being kidnapped and killed. And so she goes back to her hometown, and it's a made-up town. And then it said the Boot Hill of Missouri, which is fairly close to where I am from. It is a fictional town that she created based on towns from the Boot Hill of Missouri. And I can say she's pretty spot on with her writing of how the areas around here are, the certain small towns, how people act in the small towns. She's pretty like spot on. I just kind of get a little uncomfortable like talking about it because I guess maybe I'm so bitter or I'm just kind of on edge with this book because maybe I do relate so much to this character, but at the same time, I'm really having a hard time liking her at all. And then all her family is just like, oh my gosh. Maybe it's just like PTSD and like where I've grown up and the people I've been around. Maybe everything's coming back to me and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is the scariest horror book I've ever read. I don't really want to judge the author off of just this one because it's hitting close to home. All right, but we are on day 5, so that was day 4. Day 5's pick was The Final Girls by Riley Sager. I'm not really sure how it's pronounced. I did find out that after doing a little bit more research on this author, because I've seen his books going around and I've really wanted to try these thrillers, I did see that this is, that his real name is actually Todd Ritter, and he actually has other true crime thriller books under that name, as well as Alan Finn and Riley Sager. I don't really know. So I guess just to kind of separate the writing styles or whatever the personal meaning behind it is Riley for these. And some of, I guess, the newer thrillers too that I've really been eyeing. I'm actually filming a video dedicated to this. Hopefully, crossing my fingers, I actually finish it and follow through. But I'm actually filming a video for this one, so you guys will have to stay tuned for it. So I don't want to say too much besides the fact that I really am liking it. I did mention in that vlog that I'm filming with this book that pretty much a college student who had a near-death experience with a killer, and they literally offed all of her friends at this cabin in the woods, and she was the final girl. It kind of has flashbacks of that, but also like her now future where she's living, and she's met a couple other girls who were also final girls where tragic events happen to them, and then one of them out of the blue kills herself, and it leaves the other two like, oh my gosh, like you went through so much to just do this to yourself. So they're feeling like angry and bitter, but they're also sad and they wish that they could have done something to help her. That's kind of the gist of it so far, as much of as I read it. But now they're starting to wonder if it's something more than that. So it's very, very intriguing. I'm loving the writing style. I've been very, very intrigued. I think vlogging with it today and the little project I'm working on with it has kept me going and reading. I'm on page 93, chapter 11, and I've made like a pretty good dent in it so far today. But we went outside earlier, hence the bathing suit top, and I got some sunshine, some fresh air, and did some reading. I do know that this will definitely be one that I pick right back up after the 7 days of trying new books because I am so invested and I want to know more. Hey guys, I am drinking on my latte right now, so I thought I would do a check-in and actually wrap up this video. So I'm really excited that I've come to the end. I actually don't know where I left off last. I believe it was day 5 because I know I didn't check in yesterday, but today is day 7. I read my last book today and I kind of feel like I cheated a little bit. So I will explain myself, but first I want to show you guys the last 2 books. So yesterday was day 6 and I read a graphic novel, Coraline, a favorite, but I actually have never read it. I have, of course, have seen the movie several times and we love it here at this house. But yeah, I had never actually read the graphic novel, and since I have been definitely like dabbling into graphic novels a lot more lately, I thought it'd be really fun too. And I already know the Coraline story, but it was really cool being able to read it and kind of seeing the differences between the book and the movie. But it is really good. I feel like for reading it to your kids, or I mean, it's a little scary. It's a twisted story, but really good graphic novel. And I actually want to pick up some more from him. I know he has some more graphic novels that are definitely like for kids, but I feel like also really good for adults, especially if you kind of like spookier things or twisted stories. It's almost like reading like Brothers Grimm's like stories, but like in graphic novel, I feel like anyways. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to have an easier day. I spent most of my day journaling for the first time in a long time. So it felt really nice that I ended up just doing a graphic novel, but it was also a chance for me to be able to read through the entire thing and finish it in one day. So, which, you know, is pretty hard to do recently with the kiddos and just how life has been recently. I cannot believe we're back to school shopping. Crazy. But today, this is where I kind of feel like I cheated a little bit because I really wanted to push myself with this challenge more, but just as the days went on, I realized how incredibly hard it was going to be to make sure that I could fit in enough time. And I feel like today I could have pushed myself a little bit harder. I'm kind of just having one of those Mondays where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do still. So every time I sat down with a book, I felt like I was just like, I don't know if I have time for this today, you know? So finally, with my lunch and my latte, well, after I got done with my lunch and I was drinking my latte, finishing it off, I went ahead and just picked up a manga because I haven't read a manga for these 7 days, and I really wanted to read the next part of Vampire Night. So this is volume 3. I just finished it to wrap up this 7-day. So I did 3 books that were like comic book, manga, graphic novel. So they were reads that I was able to actually read the entire book throughout the day. That way, 3 of them are already done and out. So it leaves me with only my 4 books that I started the other days that I wasn't really able to get like even halfway through with how busy my week was. So I'm gonna jump into those 4 in just a minute, but I did just wanna say thank you so much if you have watched this. It has been a really fun journey, and I know that these clips are just kind of like so jumbled up, but hoping I can edit this down to where it's not like too much and too like overwhelming like all at once too. But I really have enjoyed this. I feel like this is the first book challenge where I've actually really challenged myself, and although I've really enjoyed it, I do think that I want to try this again in the fall when I have maybe a little bit more extra time on my hands. I definitely think I'll be able to get more of a dent into my books each day versus where I'm at right now. It's crazy. I used to be able to finish a book in like a day, like even like a one sitting of just getting up to pee or get a drink. I've actually already planned my next book adventure video, actually a couple, so I'm really excited. I just feel like it's really inspired me to do more the book videos, so I hope that you're enjoying them because more is to come. So in this video, I'm not going to really have like my final thoughts on all of these. I've kind of given you guys brief descriptions on like how I am like going with them so far from the days that I was reading on them, but I will be able to tell you guys like which ones I'm most excited to jump back into and probably the order of what I'm going to jump back into. I mean, honestly, I'm probably going to jump around a little bit, but I am currently filming something that has to do with this one. So this is going to be my first book that I'm going to jump back into, and I'm actually probably going to today because I really want to get back into it. So I know that I'm going to be jumping back into both of these. I really want to read through this one. I was very invested in the case and I want to keep reading it. It is the first one of the series, so I definitely am intrigued to keep going so that I can continue on with the series. But yeah, I think this one is definitely motivated because I want to continue filming the little project that I have going on with this one, but I also really was enjoying the story. I just thought it was really good. I love the way this one is written. It's just kind of like a little like breath of fresh air from other thrillers that I've been reading recently, so yeah. It really hooked me in. That leaves me with these two, and there's nothing wrong with the Hunger Games Catching Fire. It's still been a really good series to read, and I think it's also the fact that I know so much of the story from watching the movies, so that can sometimes ruin it for you, even though the books are better than the movies. But I still made it probably like a quarter of the way, so I'm still excited to continue the series. This is the only book out of this challenge that I am semi-dreading. I don't know. I just kind of wished for more, and honestly, like, I probably have the least amount of pages left in this one out of all of them to finish reading. Again, you guys kind of got my review with it the day that I was reading it and how I was feeling. I think I was really having an off day too, so it just kind of set the mood for it in general, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Definitely want to finish it. I at least know that. I want to give the book a benefit of the doubt. I want to give the writing style a benefit of the doubt because I did pick up, I think, 3 other books from Gillian Flynn, so I definitely want to still give it a little bit of time. I'm hoping it won't be a DNF. Honestly, only time will tell. I think I can get through this though. There's not that many pages, but I am going to go ahead and end it here for you guys. I hope you guys still enjoyed. I hope that you're inspired to just get creative with your reading. I feel like getting creative with anything in general kind of spices it up a little bit more, makes it more intriguing, and you get more inspired to do that. And if it's something you love, that is where it's at. So yeah, that's what this whole challenge did for me, and it also inspired me for so much more content that I'm already cooking up behind the scenes, or, you know, thinking of, or making me want to even dabble more into the book world of YouTube. I have been doing that. Hopefully it's interesting for you guys, and if it wasn't, hopefully my next ones will be a little bit more interesting and not so much like the 7 books all at one time. But maybe I should have split it up into parts because I'm sure this video is hella long. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have read any of these, let me know down below. And if you have any recommendations, I would love to just, you know, see what you have, see what you think, what you would love to see from me, and maybe I would love to do that as well. But thank you guys again for watching. I appreciate it. As always, a new video will be coming very soon, so stay tuned, and I will see you in my next one.
And I got trouble looking people in the eye, 'cause when I do, I just forget, oh, and when I do it, I'ma feel like I'ma die.